Attention, chosen one, because the moment the wrong people realized who you truly are, the universe quietly assigned forces to make sure nothing and no one gets too close. That's not superstition. That's not paranoia. That's a spiritual fact backed by an earthly pattern. History shows that whenever someone carries a purpose bigger than their surroundings, invisible protection forms around them long before they understand why. It's the same way elite institutions automatically safeguard classified information, except in your case, you are the classified information. From the outside, your life probably looks normal, almost too normal. You wake up, drink your water, mind your business, and probably wonder why your peace irritates people who haven't even said good morning. But behind the scenes, oh, trust me, there are movements around your life that don't look anything like ordinary coincidence. People watch you who shouldn't even know you exist. Opportunities appear at the last minute like someone is fast-tracking your paperwork. Close calls avoid you like they've been warned not to touch you. You think it's luck? No, it's protection, assigned protection because of what others already know about you, the things you haven't even fully recognized yet. Certain individuals, spiritual and human, have observed you closely enough to spot what the average eye misses. They've seen the signs, the resilience you weren't supposed to have, the intuition that catches motives before mouths open, the grace that follows you even on your worst days, the uncanny way you survive things that leave other people in pieces. At some point, someone in the background looked at you and said, "Nope, this one cannot be touched. Guard them." And here's the funny part. Half the people assigned to protect you don't even look like protectors. Some look like random helpers, strangers with perfect timing, or even people who enter your life for 5 minutes and disappear like undercover angels on a coffee break. But they show up exactly when they're needed. They block harm without making a scene. They guide you without announcing their role. They intervene so subtly you don't realize you were inches away from disaster until years later. Whether you know it or not, your life gives off signals, loud ones. Not the "I'm special" kind, not the ego kind, the kind that whispers to the unseen realm. This one has work to do. This one has impact coming. This one carries something rare. And because of that, forces were assigned to keep you alive, stable and untouched long enough to reach what destiny has marked with your name. So today, we're diving deep into why you're protected, who noticed you first, and what they saw that made them say, "Put a shield around that one," immediately. Number 1, they know you carry information. Your mind hasn't even spoken yet. There are people, both spiritual and physical, who have observed you long enough to realize that your mind works on a level most people never reach. You don't need to speak your thoughts for others to sense the depth of what you understand. There's a silent sharpness about you, a quiet awareness that exposes motives and patterns before anyone explains what's going on. And the truth is this: when someone carries that kind of intuitive intelligence, protection forms around them because the wrong person could easily try to weaponize it, drain it, or fear it. People pick up on your awareness, even when you're not trying to show it. You ask the right questions at the wrong time, you sense tension that wasn't verbalized, and you catch lies from people who swear they're excellent liars. You identify shifts in energy, subtle changes in someone's tone, and hidden intentions that others completely miss. There are individuals who have looked at you and realized very quickly that you don't operate on surface level. You see the undercurrents. You read the atmosphere. You decode the truth without being told. That alone makes you someone who needs guarding, because minds like yours don't come around often, and when they do, they are often misunderstood, underestimated, or targeted. Your intuition has exposed things you didn't even know you were exposing. You've walked into rooms and instantly understood what wasn't being said. Sometimes people get uncomfortable around you and you don't understand why. It's because the part of you that sees beyond the obvious makes them feel naked, even when you're just sitting quietly. You don't have to confront anyone for them to feel seen by you. That silent accuracy is what others noticed about you, and it's why you've been watched in ways you didn't ask for. This kind of perceptive ability isn't accidental. It's inherited, spiritual, and refined through everything you've survived. That's also why protection surrounds you. Forces were assigned to shield someone who carries inner knowledge that could expose the wrong heart, dismantle manipulation, or awaken truth. You are more perceptive than you realize, and they know it. That's why you're protected. Number 2, your life has patterns that don't belong to ordinary people. Your life moves in ways that most people would call coincidences, but anyone paying close attention knows there's a rhythm to it that doesn't exist in ordinary lives. The timing of events, the people who appear right when they're needed, the way certain dangers avoid you while others are drawn to those around you, it's all part of a pattern that's been noticed. It's the kind of pattern that makes some people uncomfortable because it doesn't fit their understanding of how the world works. They see that your life doesn't follow the same rules everyone else seems to obey, and that alone draws attention, both human and spiritual. Every major turn in your life has echoes behind it. Doors open at precise moments. Information arrives exactly when it needs to. Opportunities appear just before you would have run out of options. People who could have derailed you somehow step aside or disappear at the right time. These are not accidents. The forces watching you recognize that the path you are walking is intentional, guided, and protected. The more unpredictable the world tries to be around you, the more your life shows a hidden order that only certain people can detect. Even the challenges you face aren't random. They are calibrated tests designed to refine you without breaking you. That means your existence itself is constantly observed and adjusted, because those who understand your purpose cannot allow your path to be permanently disrupted. When you survive situations that would crush others, when you move through chaos without losing clarity, that pattern becomes even more visible, and once it's noticed, protective measures kick in. Your life's rhythm makes you a standout. It signals to the world that you are operating on a higher frequency. People around you who sense it may not understand it, but it commands respect and caution. That's why your movements attract, why subtle interventions occur, and why your path is shielded. You don't just stumble through life, you navigate a carefully structured design that only a few recognize. That order, that pattern, is precisely why you cannot be left unguarded. It's too rare, too valuable, and far too necessary for the future. Number 3, your absence would create a ripple they cannot contain. There are certain people in this world whose presence holds up more than their own lives, and you are one of them. Your existence is connected to multiple destinies, multiple timelines, and multiple transformations that haven't even unfolded yet. The truth is, if you were removed too early, whether by attack, stress, sabotage, or distraction, it wouldn't just affect you. It would disturb a chain of outcomes that depend on your future self. And the people who understand this, spiritually or strategically, know they cannot afford to let you fall out of alignment. Your presence holds weight in ways you may not always recognize. You're the person whose advice shifts someone's entire mindset. You're the one whose energy brings clarity in chaotic situations. You're the one who unknowingly prevents other people from making destructive choices. Sometimes you uplift people without even noticing it. Sometimes you hold families, friendships, or environments together without being formally acknowledged. There are connections, opportunities, and breakthroughs that literally hinge on you being in the right place, at the right time, alive and stable. That's why protection surrounds you. Not because you're fragile, but because the impact of your absence would be too loud, too messy, and too costly for the universe to allow. Every chosen person carries a future that affects more than their personal story. When your destiny is tied to expansion, healing, leadership, or awakening, there is a level of protection that activates by default. Whether you realize it or not, your life shapes other people's directions, even people you've never met yet, even strangers watching from the sidelines, even those who disagree with you. Those in spiritual realms, and sometimes even those in powerful earthly positions, recognize this ripple effect more clearly than you. They understand that removing you would collapse things they aren't prepared to rebuild. This awareness makes you a priority, a person who cannot be touched recklessly, a soul whose timeline must stay intact. Your survival isn't accidental. It is intentional, calculated, and guarded, because your future is too important, too interconnected, and too catalytic to be interrupted. You matter more than you know, and they know it. That's why they protect you. Number 4, someone has already tried to break you and failed. That failure activated surveillance. There was a point in your life where you were supposed to collapse. The pressure was designed to crush you. Someone, intentionally or unintentionally, pushed you to the edge mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, expecting you to fold in a way that would permanently alter your destiny. They wanted your confidence shaken, your stability ruined, your spirit dimmed. But instead of breaking, you transformed. Instead of collapsing, you stood back up with a clarity and strength that even you didn't fully understand at the time. That moment was bigger than you think. Your resilience didn't just surprise the people involved, it alerted the forces assigned to watch over you. When someone withstands that level of attack without losing their core identity, it signals that they carry something rare, something protected, something not meant to be destroyed by ordinary means. That's the exact moment surveillance around your life increased. Not because you're weak, but because your strength proved you were more valuable than anyone realized. Your comeback was a spiritual announcement. It told the unseen realm, this one cannot be taken out easily. So higher guardians stepped closer. They tightened your protection. They adjusted your path. They made sure that future attacks, betrayals, or emotional blows wouldn't reach you the same way again. The moment you survived what should have destroyed you was the moment they marked you as untouchable. And it didn't go unnoticed by the people who tried to break you either. They saw something in you they didn't expect. Stability under pressure, grace under betrayal, clarity under confusion. It scared them. Your strength became a witness against their intentions. That's when the spiritual alarms went off. That's when the invisible forces around your life stepped in, saying, if that was their best shot and it didn't work, we're taking over from here. Your survival wasn't just a personal victory. It was a signal to every realm involved that you were chosen, fortified, and essential. And from that moment on, protection around you wasn't optional. It became mandatory. Number 5, your intuition is a threat because it functions like classified technology. Your intuition doesn't work like everyone else's. Most people rely on conversations, body language, or repeated patterns to understand what's going on around them. You pick things up before they have form, before the words are spoken, before the actions are carried out. You aren't guessing, you're detecting. And those detections are usually so accurate that they expose motives long before people think they've successfully hidden them. That alone puts you in a category where protection becomes necessary, because intuition like yours attracts both respect and fear. You pick up inconsistencies in someone's tone that others would overlook. You catch hidden agendas from the smallest shift in behavior. You sense betrayals before the person even knows they're planning them. You feel spiritual attacks before they manifest in the physical. It's as if your mind and spirit have access to information the world hasn't downloaded yet, And that level of sensitivity makes you a quiet threat in environments built on secrecy or manipulation. And people notice it, even the ones who pretend they don't. They've watched how you call out things without calling them out. They've watched how you avoid traps that were carefully set for you. They've watched how you distance yourself from people right before they reveal their true colors. They've watched how you walk away from situations minutes before something goes wrong. It's no coincidence. It's your inner radar working overtime, scanning everything around you and sounding silent alarms that only you can hear. This ability is so rare that it often confuses people who can't figure out how you just know. Some think you're reading their minds. Some get intimidated because they can't lie around you comfortably. Others get triggered because your intuition exposes what they hope to keep hidden. When someone's ability to detect truth reaches that level, protection becomes automatic. Higher forces shield you because your intuition threatens anyone who operates in shadows. You weren't taught this skill, it's built into you. It's the inner technology of a chosen soul, advanced, precise, and deeply inconvenient for those whose intentions aren't clean. That's why you're protected. Your intuition is too sharp, too revealing, too disruptive to be left unguarded. Number 6, you carry a destiny that interferes with dark agendas. There are people and forces in this world whose mission is to keep others confused, insecure, silent, or spiritually disconnected. Not because they hate humanity, but because control becomes easier when people don't know who they are. And here you are, born with a destiny that completely disrupts that. Your presence alone challenges anything built on manipulation, fear, or deception. Some people don't dislike you as an individual. They fear what your fully awakened self will undo. Your purpose naturally interferes with anything designed to keep people small. You carry a truth inside you that has the power to wake others up, sometimes without you saying a single word. You give people courage by just existing. You inspire strength by being yourself. And you bring clarity into spaces where confusion once ruled. That kind of influence is dangerous to any agenda built on keeping people blind and dependent. From a young age, you were probably treated differently without knowing why. You've likely been targeted by negativity, jealousy, or random hostility that didn't match your intentions. That wasn't by accident. It's because something in you refuses to bow to manipulation. Something in you rejects mental chains. Something in you naturally questions what others blindly accept. You were never meant to follow the program. Your role was to expose it. When someone has that level of impact on the world around them, even in small ways, protection becomes necessary. Not because you're fragile, but because your destiny is a direct interruption to systems that thrive when people stay asleep. The more you grow, the more dangerous your light becomes to anything operating in darkness. And the funny part, you're not even trying. You're just living, healing, learning, and becoming. But even that is enough to shake things that weren't built on truth. That's why certain forces, spiritual and human, ensure that your path is guarded. Your life cannot be derailed by petty individuals or hidden enemies because too much depends on you reaching your full potential. The future needs your clarity, your strength, your wisdom, and your voice. And the agendas built on fear know that once you fully step into who you're becoming, they won't be able to control the people you influence. You're protected because your purpose threatens their plans, and there is nothing they can do to stop what you were born to dismantle. Number 7, someone in a high position saw something in you others missed. There are moments in your life that didn't make sense at the time. Moments where things worked out in your favor without any logical explanation. Moments where help appeared before you even knew you needed it. Moments where you were shielded from situations that could have damaged you. Those moments were not random. They were influenced by someone with access, someone in a spiritual or earthly position of authority, who recognized something extraordinary in you long before you recognized it in yourself. Some people see your outer life, but there are a few rare individuals who can see what's behind it. They can see the strength that doesn't show in your face. They can see the courage under your quietness. They can see the spiritual covering around you even when you walk through hard seasons. This person, whether it was a leader, a mentor, a spiritual guardian, an ancestor, or someone in a higher unseen rank, looked at you and realized, this one is marked. This one carries something sacred. This one cannot be touched recklessly. Their awareness changed everything. It shifted how the universe handled you. It shifted how your story unfolded. It shifted the level of protection around your life. When someone with authority recognizes your value, it influences the forces assigned to your path. Their respect becomes a shield you didn't ask for, but desperately needed. You've been protected from things that would have swallowed you because someone higher intervened. You've been redirected from relationships that weren't aligned because someone higher said no. You've been covered in seasons where you were spiritually vulnerable because someone higher stepped in quietly. And the truth is, this person saw something in you that others overlooked because most people only judge the visible. They didn't see the layers you carry. They didn't see the wisdom shaped by pain. They didn't see the fire you walked through without losing your softness. But the one with insight did. Once they recognized your calling, your potential, or your spiritual rank, they made sure you wouldn't be taken out, tricked, or destroyed before your purpose matured. They placed an invisible barrier around your life, not out of pity, but out of respect. Their insight became your protection. Their understanding became your shield. And to this day, you're still guarded because someone with authority decided, this one is needed. This one must be preserved. Number 8, you're not protected because you're weak. You're protected because you're dangerous. People often misunderstand quiet strength. They assume that because you don't shout, argue, or fight for attention, you must be soft or easily handled. But the ones who've crossed you, underestimated you, or studied you closely know better. They've learned, sometimes the hard way, that you carry a type of power that doesn't need volume to make an impact. You dismantle people without lifting a finger. Your truth shakes illusions. Your presence exposes dishonesty. Your spirit disrupts anything built on lies. And that makes you someone who must be protected, not because you're fragile, but because you're too powerful to be left unattended in chaotic environments. When you speak, people feel it. When you walk away, people feel it. When you stand your ground, it alters the entire atmosphere. You have a natural authority that doesn't beg for validation. And for some, that's intimidating. It forces them to confront themselves. It strips away their masks. It reveals the contracts they made with their own insecurities. You aren't out here battling with fists or outrage. You influence reality by simply being in alignment with who you are. This type of strength can create enemies without you doing anything wrong. People who operate in manipulation, deception, or hidden motives get nervous around someone who carries truth so naturally. They get uncomfortable because you don't need to expose them. They expose themselves just by being around you. That's the kind of impact that requires supervision, because not everyone can handle what your presence does to them. Higher forces stepped in because you carry a level of spiritual weight that could easily cause unnecessary conflict if left unguarded. You weren't meant to waste your energy fighting battles that don't match your purpose. You weren't meant to constantly defend yourself against people who feel threatened by your authenticity. You weren't meant to be drained by environments that can't hold your power. You are protected because your influence is significant, because your spirit carries authority you never had to announce, because your energy shifts things that others struggle to move. You are dangerous, not to good people, but to anything false, manipulative, or spiritually unaligned. And that kind of power needs guarding, not punishment. It needs guidance, not suppression. You are watched over because the world isn't ready for what happens when you're provoked. Number 9, you possess a calmness that exposes hidden corruption without speaking. Your calmness is not silence. It is revelation. It's the type of energy that makes people suddenly remember everything they thought they hid. Some people fear loudness, confrontation, or intimidation, but insecure or corrupt individuals, they fear stillness, especially yours, because your calmness doesn't come from ignorance. It comes from accuracy. It comes from the fact that your spirit reads people before they even justify themselves. It comes from the fact that you don't need to interrogate anyone. They interrogate themselves the moment you enter the room. Your presence strips away masks people never thought they'd have to remove. Your silence becomes a mirror they didn't consent to look into. Your energy becomes a spotlight they were not prepared to stand under, and that's why you're protected. Your calmness is disruptive, not because you intend for it to be, but because it exposes what people have spent years burying. Fake intentions crack around you. Power imbalances collapse around you. Manipulators lose their ability to manipulate because nothing about you is reactive enough to grab. Your spirit is too stable to be played with. Your intuition is too sharp to be fooled. Your peace is too real to be infiltrated. To individuals who thrive on chaos, dishonesty, or hidden motives, you're not just intimidating, you're dangerous. They can't predict you. They can't provoke you. They can't study you because you don't perform for their triggers. And so, higher forces, spiritual or otherwise, cover you. Not because you're fragile, but because your presence alone can dismantle the wrong people, the wrong systems, the wrong networks, without even opening your mouth. You walk into a room and suddenly people start correcting themselves, shifting their behavior, over-explaining, changing their tone. That's not coincidence. That's conviction. That's exposure without effort. You are protected because you carry something that forces truth to rise to the surface. Even in environments built on deception, your existence is not neutral. Your presence is not passive. You are a walking audit, a spiritual scanner, a living recalibration, and people can feel it, even if they can't articulate it. Number 10, your spiritual rank is known in realms you've never visited. There are people who judge you only by what they can see: your age, your background, your resources, your quietness. But what they don't understand is that your authority was never rooted in the physical realm. It was acknowledged long before you ever took your first breath. In the unseen world, you are not a beginner. You are not a novice. You are not just another person trying to figure life out. In the spirit, your name has weight. Your footsteps echo. Your presence signals clearance. Your soul carries codes that intimidate anything dark, corrupt, or manipulative. And here's the part people would never guess. The spiritual realm recognized you before humans ever did. You were marked, registered, and ranked before you even understood what spiritual warfare was. That is why this is not coincidence, it's classification. Some people are protected because they're vulnerable. You're protected because you're dangerous. The forces assigned to you are not babysitters, they're bodyguards. Your spiritual rank is known even in realms you've never consciously traveled through. Your authority has been spoken of in meetings you weren't physically present for. Your identity has been acknowledged by forces that don't even speak your language. They respond to your frequency. That's why you've survived things that should have destroyed you. That's why certain attacks feel unusually intense. They're not coming for the you people see. They're testing the rank of the you they sensed. And that's why the moment you stand back up, the opposition flees. Your destiny didn't wait for your awareness. It activated on its own. Some people underestimate you because they only see your body. But the spiritual realm sees your ancestry, your calling, your contracts, your anointing, your assignments. You walk around thinking you're just trying to survive life. Meanwhile, heaven and hell both know exactly who you are and why you cannot be touched. You're not just protected, you're classified. Number 11. People have tried to study you in silence, and what they found scared them. Some people never approached you with honesty because they weren't trying to know you. They were trying to decode you. They watched the way you moved, the way you handled pressure, the way you rose again after situations that should have ended you. They paid attention to your silence, your reactions, your recovery speed, your inner steadiness. And the more they observed, the more they realized you don't operate like someone who's merely surviving life. You operate like someone who's guided, backed, and reinforced by something bigger than you. These silent observers expected to find weaknesses they could use, patterns they could exploit, or triggers they could manipulate. They expected to find a typical human response: anger, desperation, fear, collapse. Instead, what they found was the opposite. You kept standing, kept growing, kept elevating in ways that defied everything they understood about stress, pressure, betrayal, and trauma. Your life refused to match the predictions they made, and that alone terrified them. Your resilience didn't follow human logic. Your breakthroughs didn't follow natural timing. Your protection didn't follow the usual rules. They saw situations designed to break you suddenly backfire. They witnessed doors open for you with no connections. They watched spiritual attacks bounce off you like rubber bullets. They saw you come back from emotional wounds that would have made other people bitter, violent, or destroyed. In their confusion, they began to whisper about you, not in gossip, but in concern. They informed the wrong people and the right people without even realizing it. Some went to higher authorities because they couldn't comprehend how you were still standing. Some reported to spiritual leaders, mentors, or even people in power, trying to find an explanation for your endurance and elevation. The more they studied you, the more they backed away. The more they investigated, the more they respected or feared you. The more they tried to reduce you to something understandable, the more they saw signs that you weren't walking alone. Their silent research became your silent protection. People may not admit it out loud, but what they discovered about you made them step out of the way, and it made those assigned to protect you step in closer. Number 12, there's a calling on your life that requires you to reach certain destinations alive. There are some people who move through life with freedom, randomness, and chance, and then there are others, like you, who move under assignment. Your existence is not accidental. Your timeline is not random. There is a direction on your life that has been pulling you forward, even when you didn't understand why certain things had to happen the way they did. You're not just living. You're being escorted towards specific moments, specific people, and specific missions that require you to still be here. Your life has carried a weight you didn't ask for, but you were built for it. That's why you've survived things that shocked even you. That's why situations that should have gone left somehow bent back into alignment. That's why chaos tried to swallow you, but something unseen, unspoken, unshakable refused to let your story end prematurely. There is a purpose attached to your existence that refuses to be aborted. Some chosen ones have a calling that affects one person, a family, a community, or even an entire generation. And you are one of those people. Not because you're perfect, not because you try harder, but because your voice, your perspective, your light, or your endurance is meant to unlock something in others. You're supposed to reach certain people. You're supposed to break certain cycles. You're supposed to expose certain lies. You're supposed to bring clarity where confusion has been ruling for too long. You were never meant to leave the world quietly. Your story was never allowed to stop halfway. Your life is needed in rooms you haven't walked into yet. That is why protection surrounds you, not as a luxury but as a requirement. The future needs you alive, not as a memory, not as a lesson, but as a living force. There are people who will only find strength because you survived. There are people whose lives will shift because of one sentence you haven't spoken yet. There are battles you are destined to win because someone down the line needs the blueprint you're carrying. This is why the attacks failed. This is why the traps didn't catch you. This is why the attempts to break you did the opposite. Your story isn't at its climax yet. Your calling has chapters still being written. Your protection isn't random. It's purposeful. You're still here because you're still needed. Number 13. Your name has been mentioned in rooms. You haven't entered yet. There are conversations happening right now about you in places you've never been. People are talking quietly, sometimes hesitantly, sometimes with excitement or fear. They notice things about you that you take for granted. Your resilience, your clarity, your ability to rise again when circumstances should have kept you down. They notice patterns in your life, your precision, your timing, the way you move through chaos without losing your center. And even if they don't fully understand it, they sense your influence is real, and they talk about it. Some speak with admiration, marveling at how you navigate life with a mix of strength, grace, and intelligence that seems untouchable. Some speak with fear, nervous about what your presence or actions might expose. Some speak in confusion, unable to map how you continue to succeed, survive, and inspire in ways that defy ordinary logic. Every whispered observation, every private acknowledgement, every shared opinion about you has consequences that extend far beyond mere words. Those discussions don't just stay in the air. They trigger unseen systems of protection around you, forces, spiritual, human, or both. Take note when someone of significance is recognized before they even realize their own power. Conversations about you, whether in admiration or fear, act like flags, markers, or alerts. They signal to higher guardians, this one carries impact. Do not allow sabotage. Do not allow derailment. Preserve them. Even the smallest room, the quietest meeting, or the most distant observer contributes to a network that shields you. The more your reputation, gifts, and influence are noted, even in places you can't see, the stronger the protective mechanisms around your life become. People's acknowledgement of you, whether conscious or unconscious, reinforces the reality that you cannot be interfered with, that your trajectory is monitored, guided, and guarded. You may go through life thinking your achievements are quiet or unnoticed, but in reality, your name echoes in rooms you haven't entered yet. Those echoes matter. They protect you. They ensure your assignments are intact. They maintain your path, keeping interference at bay until your purpose is ready to manifest fully. Your significance has already been recognized before you even walk into the room. Number 14. They're protecting you because someone already tried to imitate you and failed miserably. There are people who watched your life, not because they admired you, but because they wanted to be you. They studied your habits, your expression, your strengths, your glow, even your challenges, hoping to recreate the outcome without surviving the process. They thought your uniqueness was a costume they could put on, a style they could copy, a script they could perform. But what they didn't understand is that what you carry is not external. It's internal, spiritual, and deeply encoded into who you are. When someone tries to imitate a chosen one, they quickly discover they're not just copying a personality. They're attempting to copy a destiny. And destiny doesn't transfer. It doesn't bend. It doesn't comply with envy. So the moment they tried to step into your lane, everything started falling apart for them. They couldn't maintain the energy, the responsibility, or the weight that comes with your calling. They tried to borrow your light, but it exposed them instead. They tried to walk like you, but their steps didn't match the vibration. They tried to speak like you, but their words lacked the authority. That failure wasn't just personal embarrassment. It was a spiritual warning. Attempts to replicate you create a disturbance in the unseen realm because it reveals how rare, significant, and irreplaceable your frequency is. It's a sign that your impact is growing. It's proof that your aura, your essence, your gift, your path, all of it carries value that others recognize but you sometimes overlook. And when the imitation fails, the imitator often shifts into jealousy or resentment. That transition is what activates higher protection around you. Envy is one of the most volatile energies, especially when it comes from someone who once studied you with admiration. That envy can turn into competition, sabotage, or hidden hostility. And that's exactly why the forces assigned to you step in with more intensity. They're not protecting you because you're fragile. They're protecting you because someone tried to steal what was never theirs and realized too late that you carry something they can't reproduce. The world doesn't guard copies. It guards originals. And you, chosen one, are the originals so valuable that even failed imitations elevate your level of protection. Everything we uncovered in this message leads to one powerful revelation. You are not just another person passing through life. You are a blueprint, a force, a destiny-bearing soul whose presence shifts environments and exposes intentions. And because of that, your journey has never been unprotected. Every strange escape, every unexpected breakthrough, every attack that mysteriously fell apart, every season where you were lifted from danger without understanding how, all of it was part of a larger truth. You are being preserved for something bigger than you know. People have observed you, studied you, tested you, envied you, underestimated you, and even tried to imitate you. And every single one of those encounters revealed something about you that even you haven't fully accepted. Your life carries weight. Your spirit carries authority. Your existence carries influence. You've walked through situations meant to destroy you, yet you emerged stronger. You've survived storms others assumed would bury you, yet you kept rising. You've been targeted, watched, misunderstood, and misjudged, yet you remain covered and divinely guided. The forces assigned to you are not random. They step in because they know your value in ways the world hasn't fully seen yet. They protect you because your voice, your strength, your clarity, and your future are not optional. They're necessary. There are assignments ahead of you that require your survival. There are people waiting for you who don't even know your name yet. There are breakthroughs, healings, awakenings, and transformations that depend on you reaching your destination intact. From your spiritual rank to your rare intuition, from the people discussing you in rooms you haven't entered to those who tried and failed to copy you, every sign points to one truth. You are a chosen one whose life is guarded, guided, and intentionally preserved. Nothing about your protection is accidental. Nothing about your journey is random. You are moving under spiritual clearance, under divine surveillance, under a covering that recognizes how essential your existence truly is. So as you continue forward, walk with confidence, walk with awareness, walk knowing that your life is watched over not because of weakness, but because of purpose. You are the original. You are the vessel. You are the one they cannot replicate, cannot replace, and cannot remove. If this message spoke to your spirit, take a moment to stay connected. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another powerful revelation. Like this video to show your support and help it reach more chosen ones. Comment below and share your experience. Your story will resonate with someone. Share this video with a friend or loved one who needs to understand the truth about their protection and purpose. Your journey is divine, your path is intentional, and your protection is proof. God bless you.